Anand Rathi is the stock of the moment. Revenues have grown about 49% on year. The AUM growth has been very encouraging on a year-on-year basis, 23% higher, with the net profits as well growing to 127 crore rupees. Let's connect then with Anand Rathi, who is the chairman of the company, as well as Feroze Azeez, the deputy CEO at Anand Rathi Wealth, to talk about the road ahead and the strong quarterly performance. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining in. To begin with, going to ask you, Mr. Rathi, what kind of growth are you expecting basis after what you've delivered for FY23?
Yes, our guidance going forward next year, our revenue would be about 500 crores and the profitability about 155 crores. So we're giving growth of about 22-23% growth in the profitability.
Yes, if you look at March numbers from a mutual fund standpoint, the net mobilization was the highest, if not one of the highest. And I think the SIP numbers were very heartening, 12,000 crore plus kind of mobilization every month you see. Where we see this trend going is in the next 4-5 years, we're looking at SIP mobilizations in the industry becoming 25,000 crores. With this kind of tailwind, a business which is poised to capitalize on the penetration of the Indian financial system, because today, in spite of having 39 lakh crores, going up from 32 lakh crores in the mutual fund industry, we're still 2% of the world's mutual fund AUM. And our penetration with respect to, as a ratio to GDP is just 9%, whereas other global global countries are at about 60-65%. So to answer your pointed question, just like the industry is going, our share of the mutual fund has gone up from 36% to 46% as a proportion of our total AUM. Will that increase and stabilize at 50-55? That's what we see and target.
Encouraging, Feroze, that you're looking at strong inflows, given the fact that it has been the highest in March 2022. I also want to understand from you, Feroze, Anand Rathi Wealth has assets under management of about 32,000 crore rupees. How do you plan to increase the AUM going forward, and what kind of growth are you expecting?
So we plan to increase the AUM by following a process which is very holistic, standardized, with increased number of RMs, increased number of clients. We've crossed the 7,000 number of clients mark by the end of this financial year. We've added about 38 relationship managers net from 233 to 271. So these are the two important variables which determine the influx of AUM, penetration and newer clients. Newer clients come from existing RMs and the newer RMs as well. So that should definitely make us grow 20-25% year on year for years to come. So that's the key focus. These two pillars, which is RMs and new clients, definitely help us get our AUMs to the guidance value of 39,000, 40,000 crores by the end of FY23.
Okay, so things are looking good. Strong set of numbers that have come in, Feroze, and of course, the highest ever inflows thanks in mutual funds in the month of March. But I think what your shareholders will want to know, analysts as well as the viewers, how is Anand Rathi going to withstand competition, whether it is from private wealth firms going forward or even those that are backed by banks? How geared up are you folks?
So if you look at, of course, it's a competitive space, but the pie is increasing at a pace which is so large that everybody has their business. We think that the HNI fraternity, for example, every 3 years, you see that the HNI count is doubling. So that's one key variable. You see the number of people who are paying taxes greater than 1 crore every 6 years is tripling. So we today have 1 lakh people who have, as individuals, filed taxes of incomes greater than 1 crore in FY18. That's supposed to become 3 lakh people. So the pie is also widely expanding as the competitive landscape increases. But a wealth management outfit like ours, whose core business is to manage money, and that's not a peripheral business. So we think that there is a uniqueness in terms of offering a holistic service rather than a peripheral product offering, and a very standardized offering. Make sure that the client experience is narrow and not as divergent. So client satisfaction results in penetration. So that's how we stand apart from the competitors or companions in the industry, as I would like to call them.
And in addition, we also, focus on the segment of 5 to 50 crores HNI, which is the most rewarding segment, and that's where we find, in fact, much lesser competition, and our performance has been amongst the best. So this strategy of concentrating on a particular segment is also helping us to grow fast.
So just going back to that point that both of you are making, and whichever one of you wants to come in, the pie is very large. The penetration is still minuscule, though it is going up. What is the current penetration, and how are you likely to see that go up this year with the kind of volatility also that is kicking in?
So if you look at the 2020 study, which says about 7 lakh odd $1 million plus investable surplus individuals or families existed, and today we are speaking of 7,000. So there's a huge market which is just 1%, which is what we possess. So that's the current number of FY 2020. We expect this to almost grow at the rate of 13-14% and reach a 13 lakh number by FY 25. So is there enough and more prospects which are being generated in the marketplace? The answer is yes. With satisfied clients, you get client references to capture this ever-growing HNI segment in India.
Right. Feroze, digital wealth AUMs grew faster because of a low base for you. But going forward, what's the kind of growth that you are expecting on the AUM as well as the revenue front?
So, of course, like you rightly pointed, the base was small, so that's why 39% growth. But digital, that's a very untapped market. The mass affluent in India, that's also a very rapidly growing segment. We stand apart because of our offering through the client engagement partners. So our client engagement partners have increased. Can you look at growths of 25-30% year on year on the AUM side? The answer is yes.
And the reason is very simple, that we expect about 10% growth to come from the, the market appreciation, about 10 to 15% the new money coming through the existing clients or the newer clients.
Feroze, you also have a non-revenue generating business, that is estate planning. Do you plan to start charging for these services going forward, or is this going to remain free?
I think holistic wealth management has this as an integral part. See, all our clients and us all have a finite life. So at a point in time, this money has to move from one generation, one karta to another karta. So this service, for it to be delivered in the marketplace, needs to be given free, so that you create an umbilical cord with your client, so that the relationships which you have can last the 10, 20, 30 years through the investing cycle. So to answer your pointed question, it will remain a free service. It has remained a free service for the last 10, 12 years as a part of the offering. We have created the maximum number of wills. 3,000-4,000 wills have been created to make sure that this transmission is not a loose end left unmanaged.
Finally, Feroze, I'm curious, are clients now seeking exposure to crypto, and what's your view as well on crypto as an investment?
See, when it comes to crypto, of course, we as a wealth management outfit don't recommend anything which have standard deviations as large. Unfortunately, the participants of the crypto market don't realize that it is even the safest crypto, which is Bitcoin, has a 74 standard deviation as against 18 standard deviation on Nifty. Crypto has moved more than 10%, 17 days in the last 1 year, and more than 5%, 61 days, and Nifty hasn't moved 10 and 5% in the last 1 year even once. So the kind of volatility that brings into the portfolio does not create a meritorious case for its inclusion.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rathi, as well as Feroze, for walking us through all of the data points when it comes to numbers, as well as what has led to this steady performance. That's